Yes, I see. Good news, everyone!
Today's video is brought to you by me, Jeff Hicks, and my new book, Tits and Art. Tits and Art, or TNA, is my new annual project. It's a big 11 by 17 full-color book busting out with beautiful women and beautiful art. Sign-ups are live now. It's only live for 30 days, so I can guarantee delivery by Christmas. Sign up today, link in the description below.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
G4 was the most pivotal network in television history as it helped usher in the technology-driven world that we live in today. Founded in 2002, G4 was Comcast's answer to Tech TV, a network dedicated solely to technology. However, Comcast wanted to skew younger, aiming for the elusive 12 to 34-year-old demographic. Their answer? Video games. Launched on April 24, 2002, G4 began its life with a week-long Pong tournament. G4's original programming lineup consisted of 12 original series: Blister, Cheat, Cinematech, Filter, G4TV.com, Game Makers, Game On, Icons, Judgment Day, Players, Portal, and Pulse. In 2004, G4 merged with Tech TV, becoming G4 Tech TV. After the merger, G4's popularity would continue to skyrocket. In 2005, Attack of the Show debuted. The show premiered as a replacement for The Screensavers, Tech TV's nightly live show. Attack of the Show originally aired live 5 days a week. The show consisted of comedic segments, skits, reviews, and general discussion about technology and the modern world through the lens of a geek. The series ran for over 1,000 episodes during its initial run. The success of Attack of the Show, paired with the success of X-Play, a show from Tech TV days, G4 grew into the cultural hub for an entire generation. X-Play, formerly Extended Play, focused on the video games. The show created the modern personality-driven video game review that we still see on YouTube today and other platforms. X-Play was geared at a younger audience, though it had an edge, and would often use host Morgan Webb as eye candy to balance against the nerdy facade of Adam Sessler. This would be a formula that would shape Attack of the Show as well. As G4's appeal broadened, so did its content. G4 would continue to push the sexual content of their program. Attack of the Show's co-host Olivia Munn helped create G4's raunchy reputation. Her segments on Attack of the Show often featured her in tight outfits, gold bikinis, and regularly hoarding sausages and eating hot dogs. The geek and the sexy girl was G4's winning formula that helped them continue their rise. Other shows like Code Monkeys and Ninja Warrior helped G4 keep its audience entertained. G4 grew rapidly because it was a channel that reflected society in real time. Its technology-based slant helped G4 stay prominent well into the Twitter era. Programming changes and cancellations led to G4's initial demise in 2012. Instead of original technology-based programming, G4 was full of reruns of Star Trek: The Next Generation and Cops. With very little original content towards the end of its life cycle, G4 was rebranded as the Esquire Network and died with little fanfare. At its peak, G4 was available in over 61 million households. Today's video is brought to you by me, Jeff Hicks, and my new book, Tits and Art. Tits and Art, or TNA, is my new annual project. It's a big 11 by 17 full-color book busting out with beautiful women and beautiful art. Sign-ups are live now, and the campaign begins on September 9th. It's only live for 30 days, so I can guarantee delivery by Christmas. Sign up today, link in the description below. In 2020, the Twitter accounts of G4, X-Play, and Attack of the Show were revived with a trailer for a 2021 network relaunch. The buzz was high. During the middle of a global crisis, an old friend was returning, and fans couldn't have been happier. But little did they know, the G4 that they knew and loved wasn't coming back. After a year of hype and pre-programming featuring Adam Sessler, G4 made its return to television on November 16, 2021 at 6 a.m. Eastern with a marathon of the original Ninja Warrior. The catastrophic launch special was broadcast on the network's Twitch and YouTube channels that same evening before airing on the cable network the next day. G4 had returned, but the world it returned to was very different. The gaming sphere had become incredibly political. In the years following the demise of G4, websites like Kotaku, people like Anita Sarkeesian, and events like Gamergate would change the conversation in gaming from innovation, graphics, and gameplay to sexism, race, and other modern issues. Gaming was different, and G4 was going to have to change to fit in with modern times. In January of 2022, G4 fell into that trap. During a segment titled Airing Our Grievances, X-Play host Indiana Black, aka Fourscorin, went on a 3-minute tirade on sexism in gaming. During her multi-minute diatribe, she stated, "In joining G4, I was ecstatic to be a part of something I grew up watching as a child, but every time G4 is brought up in various channels, even at this YouTube channel, we have the chat in front of us. I can see you, without a doubt. There will be backlash because I'm not as bangable as the previous hosts. It has somehow been expected that you can talk about how much you jerked off to women as a compliment, she continued. It's not a complaint, it's dehumanizing, and it's weird. Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. Morgan Webb, Olivia Munn did not exist to be nice on the eyes for you, Black then declared. And it's just obvious sexism. You don't need to be explicitly objectify women or declare that you hate women to be sexist. Hinting the reason for her frustrations were various criticisms made in disagreement with her reviews, Black explained, "Here at X-Play, our reviews are written and produced by a team of people. There are too many games for one person to shoulder the burden, so we divide and conquer. So when we use language like we or I, that's the reviewer that's coming from the mouth of the experienced reviewer reading that review," she confusingly put forth. And that's not to say that Gerard, to be honest, Adam, or myself don't contribute to the reviews. We absolutely do. But it'll always be in a varying degree, and it takes a whole team behind us. Drawing her thoughts to a close.
So maybe for 2022, we be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective, and we enjoy the fact that people are working hard to make free content for you. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace!
Those words would seal the fate of Frosk and G4 itself. In the days following Frosk's outburst, G4 began losing an estimated 1,000 YouTube subscribers a day. Undeterred by this, Frosk fired back. In the wake of the episode's airing and subsequent spread of Frosk's rant across social media, one viewer on Reddit, Squiggles, took to the G4 TV subreddit to post a thread inquiring as to why people are hating on the lady hosts, especially Frosk. "Just saw a video of Frosk and it really blows me away. Are a lot of these people really haters from her day in the league?" the user asked. The user's question was soon met with a response from Black herself, who informed Squiggles, "Apparently it blew up. How I'm spreading misinformation because I've made mistakes when talking about a game release. Sorry for not always getting it right," she dismissed her critics. "I work a lot of shows and game news isn't my strength or passion. Playing games and reviewing them is. But if you inherently think women shouldn't be in your hobby, then making these mistakes becomes fixations to justify my ineptitude." While Frosk doubled down, the senior vice president of G4, Blair Herter, would speak up on the situation. In response to Frosk's rant, Herter tweeted, "Grateful to spend my life with a woman who smashes glass ceilings. Honored to work with the women of G4 TV's past and humans like Frosk today. Proud to work at a place that makes stuff like this." Herter then added, "If you don't hear the below, unfollow me and don't watch us. We're not for you." Those words would come back to haunt G4 in the future. On August 31st, 2022, Russell Aarons, an experienced digital executive who joined G4 TV last September as president, exited the recently revived network. Aarons, who has previously held senior-level positions at Warner Brothers, Machinima, and Electronic Arts, left her G4 post in July. Multiple insiders confirmed to Deadline. Her departure came less than a year after her arrival was announced, and the exact circumstances remain unclear. Both Comcast and G4 both declined to comment. Not only did Aarons leave the network a little under a year after she accepted her position as president, but her exit came just roughly 5 months after the similarly voluntary departure of G4 senior VP Blair Herter, the same man who told fans not to watch. Following the departure of Aarons, the layoffs began. On September 14th, as per Kotaku, at least somewhere between 20 to 30 staff members were laid off G4 TV today. According to 3 sources familiar with the business, the video game talk show network from the 2000s was resurrected last fall on streaming platforms like Twitch as well as cable TV, but now faces major upheavals less than a year later. "I truly cannot imagine the company continuing to produce our slate of content without people we lost today," said one employee. The timing and severity of the cuts took the staff by surprise, with talent showing up on set today ready to film only to have programming canceled, as HR reps met individually with employees. While it's not clear what the extent of the layoffs will be, one source said those affected were told they would receive anywhere between 16 weeks and 6 months of severance based on their tenure with Comcast, G4's parent company. An update on September 15th from G4 hosts Fiona Nova and Case Blackwell addressed the layoffs, reassuring viewers that while close colleagues had been laid off, there were no plans to scale back the channel's programming. As G4 was falling apart, Indiana Black, aka Fourscorn, sent out a tweet the day after the cuts were made public. Frosk responded to the news by sharing a meme which featured a lizard with a crown, the deal with it glasses, a joint, and bold text reading "I survived" superimposed over its image. "Let's play some games, yo," Frosk added. Her joy would be short-lived. Just 5 days later, on September 20th, 2022, the axe would come down. Less than a year after being hired and just 8 months after her infamous sexism and gaming rant, Indiana Frosk Black was gone from G4. In a tweet, Frosk said, "Thank you so much at G4 TV and the talented X-Play and esports departments. Love working with you guys. Gonna especially miss Gex." It's still unknown if Frosk was fired or quit herself. G4's current economic crisis was in part brought on by the Frosk outburst. The mantra, "don't like it, don't watch it," was constantly repeated to fans who didn't enjoy what the new G4 represented, and in turn, they turned off the channel. While Frost's outburst was damning, it only hastened the inevitable demise of G4. G4's success after its return was always in question. Fans wondered if G4 would fit in the modern landscape. In this digital age, there are hundreds of G4 alternatives all available at the same time. The internet not only fills the gap left by G4, but builds upon it. Websites, streaming, and social media replace everything G4 is capable of. The only thing G4 had going for it was its nostalgia and personalities. When the personalities attacked the fans, the appeal of G4 lessened, and its importance became non-existent. So folks, tell me what you think of the G4 situation down in the comments below. 3 questions for you today. Question 1, did you watch G4 back in the day? Question 2, were you excited for G4's return? And question 3, what did you think of Frost's outburst? And while you're down there, folks, if you have any recommendations for topics that you'd like to see us cover in videos like this, please let us know. And if you feel so inclined, shoot us an email at worldclassbs@mail.com. Thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters. And there's only one way to get it. Hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters, because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here, and well, it's man versus machine, and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, that's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of World Class Bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.